Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you a poem named Night Mail, written by the famous poet W.H. Auden. Now the title of the poem, Night Mail. Here mail refers to a mail train. Mail train, a train which carries postal orders, letters, checks, invitations for people. And why night is used? Because this train travels at night. So, this train has been referred to as the night mail. So, I hope the title of the poem is clear to you. So, now let us move on to the poem. This is the night mail crossing the border. So, this train, it is a night mail which is crossing the border of the country, bringing the check and the postal order. So, what is the train carrying in it? It is carrying the check and the postal orders. It is bringing check and postal orders for the people. Letters for the rich, letters for the poor. So this train is bringing letters for the rich as well as letters for the poor. This shows that people may discriminate between the rich and the poor, but this train, this mail train, it doesn't discriminate between the rich and the poor because it brings letters both for the rich as well as for the poor. It doesn't do any kind of discrimination or differentiation. It carries letters, postal orders, checks for both the rich as well as for the poor. The shop at the corner, letters for the rich, letters for the poor. The shop at the corner and the girl next door. So it brings letters for the shop that is at the corner of the street, the well-known shop at the corner of the street, as well as it brings letters for the girl who just stays next door to our house. So this shows that this mail train brings letters for the well-known people as well as for a common girl who just stays next door. So the train doesn't do any kind of discrimination or differentiation. It does his business in a very honest, in a very loyal way without practicing any kind of discrimination or differentiation. Pulling up betok, a steady climb. Pulling up, what does the train do? It pulls up all its compartments. Now children, you must have watched a train. The train, what is at the front of the train? The engine. And all the compartments or the bogies of the train are attached to this engine, right? And what does the poet say? That the engine of the train is pulling up all the bogies or all the compartments up Betok. What is Betok? Betok is a village in Scotland which is situated on a hill. So what is the train doing? What is the engine of the train doing? It is pulling up all its compartments up the slope of the hill. And it is a steady climb. How is the climb? It is a very slow but steady climb, right? The gradients against her, gradient refers to the slope. The slope of the hill is quite steep. It is quite difficult for the train to climb up such a steep hill and pull up all its compartments up the steep hill. Yet she is on time, though her way is not easy. Though the way the railway track is sometimes on a plain land, sometimes it is on a steep hill, yet the train is always on time. The way of the train may not be a plane. Sometimes it moves on a plane, sometimes it moves on a hilly slope, but it is always on time. It is never late. Past cotton grass and moorland boulder. The train passes by cotton grass which bears cotton, right? Grass which produces cotton. So the train, while it is moving, it is passing by cotton grass and moorland boulder. What do you mean by moorland? Moorland is a hilly land which is covered with rough grass, right? It is a hilly land which is covered with rough grass as well as boulders. Shoveling white steam over the shoulder. Shoveling, pushing, emitting here, right? It is emitting a white steam. Now, children, when this poem was written, there was steam engines, right? And you know that steam engines move with the help of coal. Coal is used as a fuel to move these steam engines. And these engines emitted a lot of smoke, right? So that is what white steam is, the white smoke that is emitted by the train, right? And it is over the shoulder. What do you mean by over the shoulder? Does a train have a shoulder? No, it cannot have. So it is the body of the train. So as the train is moving, smoke is getting emitted and it is moving past the train. The smoke is moving like this. The train is moving forward and the smoke emitted by the train is moving back over its body. Is it clear to all of you? Snorting noisily as she passes. Snorting means producing a noise. Like you will see that any animal, when it breathes, it produces a lot of noise through its nose. Similarly, this train was also producing a lot of noise as she was passing by the silent miles of wind-bent grasses. Wind-bent grasses? Now, the train is passing by at night when everything is silent. It is passing by miles and miles of silent land, right? Where you find tall grasses, but they are bent. They are bent because of the wind. The wind is blowing so hard that it is bending the grass, and the train is moving through these grasses, right? Birds turn their heads as she approaches. Now, birds do not get frightened and they don't fly away because they know that it is the mail train that is arriving and it will not attack them. It will not do any harm to them. So the birds turn their heads. The birds see the train. They hear the sound and they just turn their heads and sleep. They are not perturbed. They are not bothered by the train because they know that it comes every day at night. And it is not going to harm them. It is not going to attack them. So they are even not bothered by the arrival of the train. So if they are sleeping like this, they will only turn their head and sleep like this. This shows that they are not perturbed. They are not affected by the arrival of the train because they know it is something that comes every night and it doesn't do any harm to them. So they are not affected by the arrival of the train, right? Stare from the bushes at her black-faced coaches. So we find that from the bushes, these birds stare at the black-faced coaches. Blank-faced? What do you mean by blank-faced? Actually, these mail trains, they do not have any passengers, right? Their compartments are empty. They don't have any passengers in them. That is why it has been called blank-faced coaches. So what do? The birds, they stare from their bushes. The birds or the animals, whoever are present, they just they just look at the train, right? From the bushes. They look at the blank-faced coaches. Blank-faced, the empty compartments, which are without passengers. Because the mail train only carries mails and not passengers. Sheep dogs cannot turn her. So sheep and dogs, they know very well that they cannot change the course, meaning the direction of the train. And therefore they slumber on with course. And therefore they slumber on with paws across. They slumber and therefore they sleep, keeping their paws, keeping their feet across, right? They sleep like this because they know that however disturbing the sound is, they cannot change the direction of the train. The train will come in this direction only. However they try, they will not be able to change the direction of the wind. So what do? They just sleep with their paws, with their feet across them. In the farm she passes, no one wakes. So this train also passes by the farmlands. What do you mean by farmlands? Where cultivation takes place, where crops are grown. So when the train is passing by the farm, nobody wakes up because everybody knows that this is the time for the arrival of the mail train. So nobody is affected, right? Everybody sleeps calmly, peacefully. They are not affected by the arrival of the mail train. So nobody wakes up. But a jug in a bedroom gently shakes. But when the train passes by, because of the vibration caused by the train, a jug of water kept in the bedroom does shakes, right? So a jug kept in the bedroom full of water shakes because of the vibration of the train. Otherwise, nothing else or nobody else is affected by the arrival of the train. So children, today I have explained you only the first stanza. In my next video, I'm going to explain the other stanzas. Okay, so goodbye till then and thank you.